Thank you for attending the Week of Kindness. Coming up next is another powerful, impactful, amazing speaker. Get your notepad out, get your pen. Let's get ready and enjoy.
Hey, Sherilyn.
Hi, Tony. Good.
You get the neatest smile. I was doing the newsletter last night with everybody's picture, and I'm like, "You're so cute."
Thank you.
Yeah, that's what you did in the picture right there. Sherilyn. So, folks, Sherilyn is an integrative coach and healer. She's basically a pioneer in the mental illness partner care industry. She spent the past 25 years researching and developing science-backed mind-body practices. And you're just like I am, Sherilyn, is that we use our own experiences as a springboard from which to launch our studies and our solutions because you've been through the pain. So, in your own life experience, you were a partner carer. This is a
Yeah.
new term, partner
Yeah.
carer to your husband who struggled with his mental health and all that. And I did the same thing with my husband who went through, quite a few issues and ended up with cancer. So, I mean, sometimes this thing takes the form of 30, 35 years, guys. This
Oh, yeah.
isn't something that just happens right away. You just don't know how to deal with it. So this is what I love about Sherilyn. So when Linda Kane, our mutual
Mhm.
friend, recommended you, I knew you had to be somebody that was super special.
Oh,
So
thank
folks, I'm going to turn this over to Sherilyn. Welcome.
Ah, well, thank you, Tony. Thank you so much. It's so good to be with you. And like you said, having lived experience, it just takes you deeper into the thing that you're doing, right? You can feel it in your bones and your cells. So for me, that means I have a deep-seated belief that there is a gaping hole in mental health care right now, and that people like me and people like you are falling into it. In fact, I really believe it's contributing to our mental health care crisis, both nationally and internationally. So, as you mentioned earlier, my husband struggles with his mental health. He's doing fantastic now, I'm happy to say. But for 20 years, he was clinically depressed, struggling with clinical depression, crippling anxiety. And thankfully, over that time, as you know, mental illness has been kind of losing its stigma, so to speak, and so much more awareness has been growing around need for resources, support, et cetera. It's fabulous. I'm so thankful for that. So we had a plethora of options and resources for him, but nothing for me. And I was the hub of the family. So I was a young mom, at least part of the time, and then an older mom. But young mom, 3 kids with a career. And sometimes I was partnered in life and in parenting, and sometimes I was not. I would wake up some days to being partnered and wake up some days to a husband who may or may not wake up before dinner. So, as you can imagine, and those of you who have experienced this, you know that your life changes in a moment, day to day. You never know for sure what you're going to encounter, and that's just scratching the surface. So, being the hub of the family, I knew I had to hold it all together. I had to carry the family. You know what happens in a wheel when there's a hub and you take it out, the whole thing collapses. So I knew I didn't really have an option for being the one that stayed in bed and slept all day. But I remember one day in particular coming home from Costco. That wasn't the special thing about the day, but you know how it is when you get home from Costco. The back of the minivan was full of all the things, all the groceries, all the toilet paper, all the frozen stuff that needed to get inside. But it didn't matter that my ice cream was melting because I could not bring myself to go inside. So I was just sitting there, head on the steering wheel, just taking a few minutes to breathe. And this just knowing washed over me. It was very not dramatic, not particularly loud, just this quiet knowing I'm not going to survive this. I'm not going to survive another 40 years of this. I'm just not. So I had to do something about it. So now that I've had some perspective, like I said, my husband's doing fantastic. We had found resources for him. He's doing amazing. We found finally some resources for us, and I've been able to have some distance and some perspective. And I think that for those of us who are in this unique role, which is a horizontal caring role, there's lots of resources for people who are in a vertical caring role, people who are caring for their aging parents, lots of wonderful resources for that. And the unique stresses that brings. Lots of resources for parents who are caring for special needs children, for example. Also fantastic resources, so grateful for. But that horizontal care is missing, the support for horizontal care. So to me, I've seen kind of put my experience in sort of 3 categories, or seen my experience in about 3 categories that need a lot of attention. One is safety, which you wouldn't think of, especially when somebody's anxious or depressed. And in my case, my husband, part of the symptom was that he slept all day. But just the simple fact that you never know what a day is going to bring means you don't have that simple, very basic level of safety. And I can talk more about that, but I call that small t trauma. Secondly, capacity, which that's kind of an obvious one. I think that doesn't need to have much said about it. And finally, physical pain and illness. All of those things were just a constant reality in my life, and things that I want to do something about and provide resources and support for.
You have to admire the fact that you can, no matter what you've been through, and I feel very close to you about this, because no matter what you've been through, for some reason, God still has us here. I mean, in spite of everything that I went through. And by the way, folks, if you want to know the story, one of our hosts is Deborah Hollick, and she has a book out that's called "Live Your Life in Wow," and I have a chapter in there that describes my 33 years of marriage, and how like a movie, how it didn't all end well in 90 minutes. But it isn't well after 33 years.
Yeah.
And so the fact that we're still here is resilience. The fact that we're still here and thriving is our need to help others.
Absolutely.
And the fact that you went through this pain and then created this entire program around your solution means you're the right person. Mm-hmm. So for somebody that's out there that needs you right now, and I know this is happening, because you can almost feel it, you can sense it. I know Dr. Lisa, she's my captain today. Dr. Lisa is probably sitting there back there laughing, going, "Yes, I can feel it. Yeah, I've got some movement going on." But I always tell my speakers, you can't say the wrong thing to the right person. Mm. And I really feel that's what's coming through for you, Sherilyn, is your professionalism and the way you put it all together. Now, let me ask you this. A lot of our audience are already speakers, authors, healers, and coaches. So what we try to do is create this entire joint venture affiliate community where we help each other, because you do what I don't do. I do what you don't do. So it's a good match for us. So let me ask you this. If you were sitting right now in a room of 100 people, and I was at one table of 10 and you're at one table of 10, who in that table should I be thinking, "Oh my God, she's perfect for Sherilyn"? Who are you looking for?
Um, of course, anyone whose partner struggles with their mental health, for sure. And because of just the sheer number, I know the number used to be 1 in 5. This was before COVID. 1 in 5 people were struggling with mental health, and that's 1 of 5 people that reported it in some way. So at least 1 in 5 people love someone or are partnered with someone who struggles with their mental health. So that's a given for sure, for sure. Beyond that, anyone who cares passionately about spiritual and personal development, the concepts of safety and capacity and physical pain, we can all do something about that, right? So am I answering your question?
Yes, you are. So do you mainly work with women? No, question number one.
Well, it tends to be women
Yeah.
who raise their hand in this category. There are men as well who are brave and who are saying, hey, something's not working here and I'm in this role as well. So both.
Okay. All right. And then if somebody went to work with you, what's the next step? Do you do an analysis? I guess we had to talk about your gift for everybody first of all, because I think that kind of answers the question, right?
Yes. So my gift for everybody is 5 weeks to mind-body balance. So in that 5 weeks, we're going to go over safety, embodied awareness, clearing blocks to balance, relieving pain, and establishing congruence, inside and outside congruence. So the first step is just saying, hey, I could use some of that. And I will, when we first talk, of course, I always want to hear your story. And there's always something on the surface, and we will start with what's on the surface and we'll go from there, because there's always something else.
Yeah, see, that's the fine tuning that I'm not familiar with. I mean, if you were coming to me for business strategy or marketing or speaking advice, I mean, I kind of have my roadmap that I follow. So you've created something like that for them as well. And this is what this is. Yeah. Yep. This is excellent. Can you tell me a little bit more about it? Like for example, well, I'm just really curious, because this is something that I've always wondered, is how, when you're dealing with the mind, when you're dealing with the mindset, when you're dealing with clearing blocks, you've got to be, I mean, you got to be better than Sigmund Freud.
Well, that's another conversation. Let's just set him to the side. And I have really loved combining, when you are in business for yourself, you get to combine the things that you love. So in my case, I have a very integrated approach, and I've combined and draw from the fields of health and wellness, spirituality, psychology, and quantum physics. It's my it's been my little hidden passion over the years that turns out to be phenomenally impactful. And I'm sure those who are listening, we're in a field where there are people here who are energy workers, et cetera. And the crossover and the blurred lines between spirituality and quantum physics, et cetera. So the options, the possibilities are kind of endless when it comes to that. But in some ways, it's so simple that it's surprisingly simple and surprisingly fun. It can actually be fun. But when it comes to something as simple as creating safety, a very simple nervous system calming strategy that anybody can do at any time, that I used in the 60 seconds before I got to talk to you. Yeah. Very simple strategies like that. And then there's also some fantastic, amazing things that we get to explore together called language of sensation, for example. That's one example where I help people to build awareness of what's actually happening in their bodies. So we tend to disconnect from our bodies and live in our heads. It's easier. it's safer to just stay up there, and we lose out on so much. So going through is very simple process of saying, okay, I feel angry. Where is that in my body? What does it look like? What's its shape? All of those kinds of things, because we're giving our brain a metaphor to work with. Our brains love metaphors. It doesn't mean that there's actually that shape, et cetera, in our body, but something about giving our brain a way to think about it and process it. Just that can relieve some of the pain and stress and overwhelm, the fog.
Yeah.
From there, I love to include, and this is where quantum physics comes in as well. I consider Reiki kind of in that realm of how quantum physics works, especially when we're working at a distance. But incorporating those things together, just along with conversation and some great coaching conversation, and you combine all of those in a session and sometimes all at one time, it's astounding.
I love it. No, I love it. And it's funny that when you start using quantum physics and things like that, and people will think, okay, Big Bang Theory, what are you trying to tell me?
Right. Well, quantum physics, there's so much to it, and I'm not a physicist. I'm just a hobbyist when it comes to that. But I love it's like magic without the sleight of hand.
Yeah.
And I think it was Einstein who talked about how particles can mirror each other. You do one thing to a particle here, and the same thing happens in a totally different space at the same time when they seem completely disconnected. He called it spooky action at a distance or something. So even Einstein was like, there's something weird going on here. So one way I like to think of it is how we all, virtual reality goggles. You can put virtual reality goggles. Yes. You put those things on, and you are in a different reality.
Yeah.
And the person next to you, whether they have those goggles on or not, you're in a completely different reality. And yet it is so real that your body.
And by the way, I love that living room much better than my living room.
Exactly.
They've always got like the best vacation homes.
That's right.
Overlooking mountain tops with your what do they call those endless pools? Infinite pools?
Yes, infinity pool or something.
Yeah, I'm like, why can't I have this?
Right. So when the person next to you has those goggles on, and you wish you had something more like that on, what the principles of quantum physics kind of tell us is we get to say, oh, this is a structure of reality. This is how I am seeing reality. These are kind of like in the Matrix. I don't know if you remember when all of a sudden, Neo all of a sudden sees the truth that this is a computer generated reality. So putting those goggles on, realizing you have those goggles on, this is a form and a structure of reality, suddenly gives you like empowerment. And also some great tools then to say, oh, there's something I can do about this. I'm not stuck here. There's ways I can remove these goggles, remove those structures that aren't actually real, even though everything in my body tells me this is real.
Yeah.
It's not. And we can do something about that.
Excellent. I see, you just dumbed it down for me.
Thanks.
It's just most of our audience.
It's just like I said, it feels like magic, and it feels like a fun thing to play with.
I won't let the rabbit out of the hat, but yeah, you're the magician. I won't tell them how you did it.
Don't tell anyone.
Oh my goodness. Sherilyn, so what's next on your scope? You've started speaking now. We're going to help you get on a bunch more stages and podcasts because this needs to be heard.
Awesome. Thanks.
Give me your Christmas wish list. What else do you want to do?
I just want to continue building that bridge. every way possible and raising awareness, because when I was in that boat, in that place, in that abyss, and I was searching and searching and searching, I just couldn't find, I can count on one hand the number of people who were even talking about this role.
Right. Right.
And I was just looking, I just needed to find somebody who understood and could support and resource me in this specific role. So I just want to continue building that bridge. And for those who want to find me and continue building resources. I'm not and can't be the only one to provide support. And so I want to continue building that community of people providing support and building on that conversation, get more and more people talking about it.
So folks, for our friends who are here, who do have a podcast, if you have a radio show, a television show, I mean, let's get a hold of Standout Stars. Let me know that you want to meet Sherilyn and maybe get her on your show. Part of our business model is we create speaker bios and get you out there and do some video work and stuff like that to make sure that people know what you're capable of doing. So for example, this video here will be in your library on YouTube, so you can say, okay, you want to hear what I sound like? Here you go. Awesome. And it's yours. And so we try to help. That's part of what Standout Stars is all about, guys, is we try to help our emerging babies, our experienced babies, and our expert babies.
Oh, you guys have been amazing.
I love what, that's what I like to do. I mean, I wake up in the morning and I go, oh, okay, God, what you got for me today?
I love it.
Because we are meeting. But it's funny that you said that you haven't met a lot of people that are doing what you do. To tell you the truth, you're the I mean, I know a lot of people who take care of overcoming their diagnosis and dealing with the worst cases.
Yes.
I have a good friend of mine who I love dearly, who at one point was given months to live, stage 4 cancer, and she refused the treatment and figured out how to make it work. Wow. And she's still here, 16 years later. Wow. Right. So awesome. I've seen and I've watched and I've listened to people who have miraculous returns, simply because they wanted to explore something that made logical sense to them.
Yeah.
And felt right. I think that's the best way to say it. It just feels right. You know? Yeah.
There's no golden key, right? If there was a golden key, we wouldn't be having this conversation.
Exactly.
So there's no golden key that's going to make it all go away, but we can all contribute solutions. And when something is a fit for you, it's a fit. And
perfect. Yeah. So folks, all of the links to Sherilyn's gift and her information and her website are below us on the YouTube channel. They are in the Event Raptor speaker page. They're on the weekofkindness.com speaker page. So please join us. We are live streaming to 3 different locations. And remember that when you upgrade your ticket from a regular free ticket to a $97 VIP, you get to watch this the whole year through. You take notes, you do it at your own pace. You listen to the folks that you want. With over 60 speakers and over $45,000 worth of gifts, you need more than 4 days to listen to this. So please upgrade to the VIP upgrade, and know that the logo down here at the bottom, wherever it is now, is the Better Vision for Children. And we are on a mission to raise $10,000 for them in 2023. That's from Standout Stars. And I sit on the board, and I'm very proud to let you know that we love this charity. Any last words, Sherilyn?
Any last words? It's possible. It's possible. There's a question that I have written on my mirror right now, which is, how alive are you willing to be? And it's possible to be more and more and more alive. And I can't imagine a better way to live.
I love it. I love it. There's a link. Sherilyn, thank you so much. We've had a blast. And don't forget, you've got your that's the 5 weeks to mind body balance.
Yes.
By the way, did you have an offer for someone that they can get a hold of you, or is that the checkout
That's
page right there?
Yes, that's the
Okay.
checkout page, and that page also happens to have the free gift and
Uh-huh.
the VIP gift, and then the mind body balance 5 weeks
Right. So the VIP gift was
was.
to remember.
I will as soon as my notes remind me. The VIP gift is a 30-minute integrative coaching and healing session.
I love it. I
Yes.
love Linda's quote. How alive are you willing to be? Hey,
Yes.
I'm in this for the long haul, guys. I told my kids I'm 2 months away from 68, and I consider myself middle aged, so they're
That's
in
awesome.
trouble.
I am going to claim that for myself. A long
There you
ways to
go.
go. Long time of being middle-aged.
All right, everyone. Sherilyn, bottom of my heart, thank you so
You
much
too.
for this. And
Thank you.
and the replays are available. You guys enjoy this. Replays are all available till February the 2nd, but you must be a VIP to watch it the whole year. So thank you all, everyone. Take care. All right.
Wow, I hope you enjoyed that just as much as I did. Thank you so much for all of that great information. Hey, we're not done yet, so just relax. We're going to continue on with our next speaker in just a few moments.